Hey everybody, welcome to another repair video. Today we have a Sony WH-1000. This is the XM4 model of that headphones, and we have a couple broken parts on this. So sit back, relax, enjoy the QuickTime video of this, and afterwards you'll see the entire video with explanations on how to do all this. Enjoy! Hi everybody, today I have a Sony WH-1000. This is the XM4 model, and as it seems to happen often to these, the swivel broke on the top. So this is actually this customer's second time here. This swivel already broke, and I replaced it with a black one because that's what I could find in the market. And now that's here for this side. But while it's here, I saw that the black one that I put in is developing a crack. So we're going to change both of them. So this is going to be left and right side of swivel of a Sony WH-1000, the XM4. So I have my new parts here. Didn't come with the horseshoe, but the metal horseshoe from that one, or this one, is in here with it. So we start. Let's flip it over. I'm going to start with the one that's broken because I don't want to be working on this with this one hanging by its wire. We start with taking out the ear cup. So we'll take a plastic spudger and just get underneath the ear cup and lift it up. You want to make sure you don't rip the fake leather around it. And we take out this foam here. And we take a Phillips head screwdriver, and we're just going to take out the silver Phillips screws that are in here. So now that we have those out, we can flip it over. And this top piece here will come off. You might need to take your spudger again and give it a little bit of lifting. And there we go. Now be careful when you lift it off. It's connected to the speaker with some wires. So we're going to make a little bit of room on this round wire. Just lift it out of its little holder here. And then the speaker wire here, the microphone wires, there's 3 microphones here. We're going to just pull this out of its connector. So I think it's all of the connectors on this do not have any locks. They're all just friction fit for this. So all the cables that you ever have to pull out of this device is all just going to be pull out. There's no lock to flip over or anything. You just pull them straight out. So now the next thing, this is the easier side to do. This side is a little bit more difficult. So the next thing we're going to do is disconnect the power wire here. This large wire right here, we're going to disconnect that. You just push on these little exposed tabs here. And there you go, and we could lift it out of its holder. Now we take out these 2 silver screws here. Now these 2 silver screws hold down this side of the hinge here, this pivot here. So we could lift this one out. This one comes straight out. And now that gives us some room to move everything down this way so that this comes out. You don't want to expand this out to open this. It's better if you lift this out of the way so it has room to move. And now we can pull this out this way. So then we never stretched this at all. We never pulled that apart. Now we can take this speaker part and put it off to the side. Now flip it back over again. We could take this off. Remember which way it was oriented. It only goes on one way. There's a cavity here for this this little piece to go into. And just feed that connector right through. You can put that off to the side. Now we need to take this blue O-ring off of here. Just lift it up and around. It can stay on here. It's not going to really fight with you much or anything. And now the next thing we do, this escutcheon that's inside here, we need to lift off. So I'm going to take my spudger with the pointy part, just put it in there, start lifting that up. So it's all glued in. There's a couple clips. There's a clip here, there's a clip here, and there's some clips over here. The rest of it's all glue. not glue, it's double-sided tape, something like that. So you just lift it up. When we get to the center, it's going to pop a couple clips, and we keep going around to the other end. And the other end will lift out with a little clip that went underneath the end. Now we can put that off to the side. Now we have 2 Phillips head screws inside here now. So this is 3 different sizes that we're going to see. The longest ones here, these were for the case. These are shorter than those. Those 2 were for the first pivot that we had to take off. And now we're going to take these out here. These are the same as those. Okay. So we have 2 different sizes that we're dealing with. Now we could lift this wire from its little holders, its little race inside here. That can just stay there. And now we can pull our broken swivel out of here. Okay, there's the broken one. Let's find the proper new one. So this is the left side? Yes, it says L and a number 4. The 4 is just the, this is R1. The 4 is just the mold number that this came out of, but it says L, so that's the left side. L, here's the left side. Now this goes up into here. So we'll slide it in. All the way up. And now we need to get it in place and install the horseshoe that came out. Hopefully, make sure you have this when you go to work on this. Sometimes this breaks, and that will pop off, fly out in the gym. You're never finding it again. So some of the replacement ones that you get of these will come with this. I bought one that did not because I knew I didn't need it, and I was finding factory originals, which is kind of difficult to find. So then this slides into here. Not sure which direction yet. You'll tell when you get it to slide in if you have it in the right direction. That's the right direction. So there's a longer plastic side over here. I'll try to zoom in on that. There's a longer plastic side here and a shorter one here. The little tab on the horseshoe goes to the shorter side. So now that that's in there, we can put the wire back into its race. So I look for the indentations in the wire, and I try to put it back in the exact same spot that it was. So we'll slide that down in there. And I can see where the indentations were, where it once went. Let's see. You want to go where the wire was relaxed. Don't twist it up more than what it was. You don't want more slack where it wasn't to begin with. So everything lined up nice there. Install that. We'll put our 2 screws back in. Oops. So when you're putting self-threading screws in and out of plastic, always turn it back a little bit until you feel it click, and then run it back down. You don't want to cut new threads every single time you put a screw into plastic like that. You want to try to keep the threads that were there to begin with. Now this side here hooks under, so you got to put that in first and get it to hook under. That clips down there. And this has a little bit of a clip to it, but I think mostly it's held by the O-ring and the speaker, the hole that it will go in. So put the O-ring back up here. Okay, our swivel is now installed. That one's garbage. So now we can put this back in. Remember, the indentation here is for this little protrusion here. It's just the limit on how much it can turn. And there you go. Now we can turn it around. We can't turn around. We got to flip the whole thing over. There we go. I can bring our speaker back in. And exactly reverse, where you hold this one above everything and you can install the other side. And watch your wire. This wire does not go underneath it. There we go. Sort out my wires the correct way. Now we can put in those two screws. Okay, we'll push down the wire into its little holder and plug it back in. Okay, don't push it down in the holder first. Plug it back in first. So you have slack. Make sure it's lined up straight. Don't push on it if it's crooked or anything. Make sure it's completely straight, and then you could push it in. Now the microphone array, we can put this wire back into its holder. We don't need that much room. The microphone array is short. Okay, that looks good. Now the microphone array, you just take some tweezers, hold on to the wire, line it up, and insert it. There you go. You lay that back down. It lines up pretty well. There's some pins and stuff that line it all up. Now we can put these 4 screws back in, and we're done with this side. This was the easy side. So the other side's a lot more complicated than this. Well, not a lot more complicated. There's just more things to take apart. More things to keep track of, more things to worry about breaking. You hear some clicks all the way around it, and it is installed. Now let's go to the other side. So pretty much the same process until we get in. Lift the ear cup. Make sure you don't put any holes in the ear cushion. Lift the foam out of the way. Take out the 4 silver screws. All the other screws that are in here are for if you're servicing additional things. Like I've changed the charge ports in here before. You have to take out the rest of the screws to do that. Okay, now we can flip them over. Lift this up. Now again, there's a lot of things, or not a lot, but one big thing that's connecting this. This is the touch sensor. Now before I'm going to disconnect anything here, since I have access to it, I'm going to disconnect the battery. Good idea to just disconnect battery for when you're working on things. So we disconnect the battery, and now I could disconnect the touch sensor. We'll put that off to the side. And now we're pretty much going to disconnect everything that we can off of this board. This board needs to come out to give us access to everything. So this is a battery temperature sensor, I believe. This is the charge port coming from the other side, the inside. And then this is the main cable that we're going to have to route back up and through. Just lift and lift. There we go. So now we need to loosen up this board here. So this board's not going to come out. There's a bunch of stuff soldered to it. You don't want to go unsoldering all this stuff. So I think it's only 2 screws. Yes, one there, 2 screws. Lift it up, just jostle it out of the way some. This wire will move for you. And now we have the same 2 screws as we did before for the hinge, the little pivot here. And same thing, we lift up this side of this pivot and uninstall the other side. There we go. Now we can put that to the side. Pull this through. Take our O-ring off. Let's flip it over to the other side so we can see everything. Take our O-ring off. I can stay there. Now start lifting this. So when you come to the middle, remember there's going to be clips. So don't try to just lift it from over here. You're going to wind up breaking in the middle. There's one, there's two, there you go. And don't try to rip it off at the end either. Remember, it goes underneath the barrel a little bit. There's a little clip in there. So you lift it up from the back and pull it toward me right now. There we go. Now we can take this one out. Pull the wire from its race. Now we can pull out the little horseshoe, push it out from this side. If I push it up enough, then I can get it out with the tweezers. There's holes all the way through. You can see the bottom of the pins there. And there we go. I think I could get a tweezer on the dip. There we go. There's our horseshoe. And let's pull this one out. So this one was replaced maybe 6 months ago, and it's already got a crack in it. I thought this one was factory original as well, but I don't know if there are factory originals for these. It's such a small part. It needs to be a very strong, robust part. So I don't trust any of these ones that I see on eBay that are very obviously 3D printed. They have all the little striations of a 3D printer going through them. There's no way that it's going to be strong enough to survive for very long. Just look at the tiniest bit of plastic. I'll go under the microscope and show you this. So if we take a look at this up close in the microscope, you see how little bit of material you had to work with here that was holding all of this together. Just that little bit right there is where it broke. And if you look down in here, you see that there's a stop that's kind of crunched right there. So this is a range limiting stop here. So you can only turn it in a certain amount of degrees, and it stops that way, and turn it the other way and it stops that way. So these were like laying on a couch or something, or laying on a chair, and they were sitting with the speaker at a 45-degree angle, and somebody sat on them and tried to force them past that stop. And you see the stop got all bent up, and then it split right there. And this is the other one that was broken. That's why it's here. It's in the exact same spot. So it's in the same spot that it's broken and missing the whole piece. So this could have started off the same way. It started off just like that one did. But then you pull on it a little bit too far in the other direction, and it just snaps the whole thing off now that it's weakened. But see how little bit of material is holding this all together? That's why I don't trust a 3D printed part like this. I just can't see something that was off of one of the regular 3D printers being strong enough to hold up at all. Maybe if it was one of the ones that's laser printed with the epoxy, something like that. But regular 3D printer, I don't think can hold up with how small everything is here, how small the things are held together. Anyway, back to our repair. So yeah, you see how it's just the tiniest bit of plastic that's in here. So now remember that side goes up there, so we'll put the wire in this way. There you go, it is in its space. So now we can install the horseshoe. So you see there's this is a little bit longer than this here. This is where the little tang on the horseshoe is going to go. So it goes in like this. Push it all the way down in there. There we go. So now that can't come off. Flip it back over. And we can get the arm in. Put the wire in the exact same spots it was. We can put the O-ring back. Oh, wait. I forgot the escutcheon in the back. Put that side in first, run it around. There we go. Now we can put the O-ring back. Now this piece goes back in. Now you can flip that back over so we can get this back on here. Alright, so that is done. Now we just reassemble. You gotta put the wire back into its little routing hole here so that the board actually fits down where it's supposed to be. There's some pins that it lines up on, so you can feel that you can see that it doesn't move once it's around these pins. And we'll put some screws in so it stops moving on us. Okay, now we can start routing things correctly and plugging things in. So I'll plug in the, I think that's the battery temperature. You can plug in the charge port cable. There we go. You plug in the main cable here. And last, the battery. All the cables kind of tuck in around some plastic pieces and stuff. That all feels good. Okay, I can plug in the touch panel. Place that escutcheon back down. Now we could screw the last 4 screws in. So now just the foam and earpiece. So if this helped you fix your headphones, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment below. If you need your headphones fixed, you can find the link in the description. And there we go. We have a working pair of Sonys now. For how long, I don't know. These are supposed to be factory originals. I hope they're factory original parts, but still, even the factory original parts don't last very long. There must be just a lot of stress right there in that spot. Hopefully I don't see these back again, but I'd love to see yours if they're broken and you need them fixed. Thanks for watching.